Photography. The star trail photography is one of the fascinating photography which we can do. Due to the movement of the earth, the stars in the sky appear to move in a circular pattern. Now, the most important thing that you have to do in star trail photography is you must use a tripod, and then you can place the camera on a tripod, and you will have to have patience to take multiple images. If you take a few images, say for 30 minutes, then it results in a very small trail. But if you take a large number of images, then after you stack the images, then the trails that you produce will be longer. Now this is how it appears when you point the camera at the north pole or the pole star. And this is how the trails appear when you don't point it at the pole star. Either way, um, the picture looks beautiful. Now here you can see the movement of the stars during the night sky. Now you can see that there is a bright star which moves, along with it all other stars also move. This happens because the earth rotates, and then it appears to look like the stars itself are moving. Now you'll first have to take multiple images. Now what I have done is I have taken multiple images of this particular spot, and then I have stacked them together to make it look like a single image. Now if you see, the most important thing is you have to find out a dark spot which is not polluted by the street lights, and you have to set up the camera on a tripod. Manual focus is always preferred. Try to use a lens, a fast lens which has an open aperture of f2.8, and always try to shoot at a very low ISO, say 100, so that your image doesn't look noisy. We need some kind of software to stack the images together. Now this is how I used my camera. If you see that the camera was put on manual mode, and if you see that even the lens is in manual focus, ISO 100, and the aperture value is 2.8, and I am using a 30-second exposure. So I'll take one picture of 30 seconds, and then I'll repeat the process till I get multiple images. So if in my experiment, what I have done is I started shooting at 7:40 in the evening, and I continued shooting till 9:10. It resulted in 155 frames. Each frame had a 30-second exposure. The camera was on the tripod, and I used a remote shutter release to click the camera, because I don't want to shake the camera in between. Now I'm using image stacking using Photoshop, which I'll be demonstrating in a short video. So thing is, we'll click on file, then on script you will find an option called load files into stack, and then click on browse. Select the images that you want to stack, click on open, and then you will find it like this, and then click OK. Give it a few minutes so that all the images will be stacked in this kind of layer. Now if you see that the first layer is selected, let me zoom in. Now if you see the first layer is selected, now the next step is you will select all the layers. After selecting all the layers, in the blend mode, change it to light. Once you lighten, you will see that the trails will appear. This is a tutorial on how to use Photoshop to make star trails. Now what we do is we will click on files, and then select scripts, and then select load file into stack. Click on browse and select the images that you want to be stacked, and click on open. So you will find all the files listed like this. Click on OK and give it a few minutes, so that each frame that you have clipped is going to be stacked as a layer. Now on the right side, if you see, the files that we clicked and selected are being stacked in layers. Usually it takes a minute or two depending upon the speed of your computer. So once it is done, you can see all the files listed as layers. The next thing that you do is you will select all these files by clicking on shift and click on the layer, and then all the layers are selected now. Now select blend mode, change it to light. The moment you change it to light, you will see that the star trails start appearing. You might leave it like this, but if you want it a little darker, what you can do is just reduce the opacity. The image becomes a bit darker. Now once this is done, you can click on layers and then you can say flatten image. So this flattens the entire image. Sometimes you might not like this kind of sometimes you might not like layers like this. If you want to remove it, you can remove it, but I would like to leave it like this. But in case if you want to remove it, you can just use a spot heal tool and then you can just remove it. And all the blemishes that you find here can also be cleaned up. I don't like to have bright spots on the ground, so I'm just cleaning it up using spot heal. And now you have made your star trail image. Now as usual, you can just click on convert to profile, save it to a, and then you can save this image as a JPEG.